Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about the House GOP and the possibility of them, once again, needing to choose a new speaker because we're back to that again. So, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the dynamics within the House when it comes to maintaining the majority that apparently some Republicans still haven't figured out, and just kind of run through everything. So, as a quick recap for those who missed it, the House leadership, the Senate leadership, and the White House, they worked out a budget deal. This deal is pretty mundane. There's not a lot of special anything in it. But it was just a general compromise budget thing. The far right faction of the Republican Party is, of course, upset by this. And they are once again talking about using a motion to vacate and getting rid of the Speaker. Now, part of this may be that they have figured out that the current Speaker, Johnson, seems to be on track to render the Twitter faction of the Republican Party irrelevant and make it to where they really don't matter anymore. Because every time he pushes something through that doesn't have their blessing, they rant and rave, but they're not able to stop it. So it reduces their influence. They may have figured that out. Or they may just be grandstanding again. Now, the problem with them grandstanding is that now their base actually understands that far-right faction of the Republican Party in the House, they have the ability to stop this if they wanted to. So they may be forced into a position by Twitter likes that kind of makes them do it. There are a whole bunch of Republicans in the House right now that are saying, well, we can't do that. We would definitely lose the majority in 2024. I mean, yeah, that's probably true, but I don't think that the Republican Party, the normal, quote, Republicans, have figured something out yet. That Twitter faction of the Republican Party, they don't care about maintaining the majority. That's not one of their priorities. They're not about getting policy through. They're about manufacturing outrage and grievance. Have you not noticed that all of them are in super red districts? They're not at risk. They don't care about manufacturing any kind of policy that's going to be pushed through. They don't care about manufacturing a majority. They don't care about any of that. They want to manufacture outrage and grievance because it's good for them politically. They do better when the Republican Party is in the minority because then they get to walk in and say, oh, the Democrats did this, the Democrats did that, and get people mad. When the Republican Party is in the majority, that's much harder. They have to tell people that other Republicans are rhinos. They don't care. And I mean, I can't be mad at Republicans in the House for not figuring this out. A lot of the base of that faction of the Republican Party hasn't figured it out yet either. So, what does that mean? The Twitter faction, they may end up trying to push this through, and they may be able to do it. They may be able to vacate the chair. If they go that route, yeah, it is a guarantee that the Republican Party is going to take a massive hit in 2024 because the dysfunction just continues. So, what does that mean for Republicans who are actually conservatives rather than just, outrage-provoking authoritarians? They have to render that faction of the Republican Party irrelevant. Johnson seems to be on his way to doing that, and we've talked about it before. The more they push through, the more bipartisan stuff they push through over the objections of that faction of the Republican Party, it shows them to be ineffective. That's about the only thing that's going to work because you have to defeat them in a primary, not in a general, because they're all in super red districts. There's probably some reluctance to go that route because they do generate a lot of Republican talking points, but you can't get any of them through, right? Because they're too extreme. They're too far in the past. I would imagine that, like most professions, people who are in the House, they probably watch TV shows about politics, about, cutthroat politics. Everybody wants to be a cat until it's time to do cat stuff. If you want to be a McConnell, if you want to be a force to be reckoned with for decades, you're going to have to make moves that may be unpleasant at times. That faction of the Republican Party, it is the Trump faction. They're derailing everything. And they're going to end up costing Republicans who are in competitive districts, going to cost them their seats. But it doesn't matter to them because they do better in the minority. Them personally, it's easier for them because then they just need to go out there and whine about whatever the Republican or the Democratic Party is doing. They don't care if you keep your seat. They don't care if the Republican Party keeps the majority. So I would hope that by this point, the so-called moderate Republicans have figured this out. They may make a move to oust the current speaker. And if they do, there's only so much you can do about that. The alternative would be, no matter what, you continue to push through what they oppose and render them irrelevant. And to that faction of the Republican Party, I know some of y'all watch, yeah, do it. Oust the speaker. Oust the speaker. There's no way that that's going to go poorly for the Republican Party as a whole. Eventually, the base is going to figure out whose fault it is. Anyway, it's just a thought.